Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money. Hi everybody, welcome back to Remora TC. This week's video will cover the usual set of tickers that we've been doing for the past few weeks, but I've added a new one at the very end. That's a long play in a market which really is not favorable for those who want to go long. So watch till the end so that you can also get into that trade. Let's start things off with triple Qs. We've talked about how the overall direction is to the downside. And over the past few weeks, I discussed how there is a zone of support right here along this trend line. You could see that on Friday last week and on Monday, Friday and Monday, price failed underneath this long-term trend line here, which I've annotated in the thick black. But you can also see that on Tuesday and Wednesday, yesterday and today, that buyers came back in and bought price for triple Qs back over this trend line. So let's take a look real quick if the overall direction is to the downside. I don't see any real bearishness at the moment. Okay, there's no bearish signal in this part of the RSI. The last time there was significant bearishness was up here. Okay, hence I put all these sharks. What I do want us to be careful about is that we shouldn't get too enthusiastic to jump back in, because despite this bullishness here over the past month and a half, there is some bullishness, so I'll give you that, hence I put the whale. But at this support area, I would want to see bullishness before I go long. Typically, if you want to go long, you want to go long at an area of support down here. Okay, so price pushed up decently yesterday and then gapped up today. What I do envision happening is that price will continue to move upward into the 200-day moving average. Okay, the 200-day, I'll just kind of reposition it here. I'm freehand drawing it, so I'll draw it again. Let's see, it's probably going to do something like that. Okay, and then what I see happening is that when price comes up into the 200-day, it's going to meet resistance. So anywhere along here will be resistance. Hence, I put the red. Okay, this red annotation. So my expectation is that the news is going to come out again and say, hey, great time to buy. But it really is going to be a sell. So overall, to the downside, this is not the time to buy for triple Qs or tech stocks in general. You can see this trend line that I've drawn here. You know, price will probably come up and kiss that line, or maybe poke its head through it just a little bit. It might do it along the 200-day here. Okay, and yeah, we really want to see it hold on this trend line down here. If it doesn't, then it's really further low prices. The next real area of support is 535. And then there's this big magnet down here where prices, you know, it's like the call of the sirens in the Odyssey, where sailors are just going to take their ship right into a big rock and sink their ship. So don't be those that are sinking your ships, okay? All right, so I'm telling you first. Let's go over to Microsoft. Microsoft is behaving as I have expected. You can see this wave action coming through here. It's doing that. You can see I have also annotated some bullishness with the whales here. Bullishness here, price came up, hit the trend line, got rejected. Bullishness here, price is coming back up. Okay, I expect it to come up to this orange trend line that I've drawn, and it will pose resistance. It's just a wave action. Okay, it's nothing to be excited about. Price is going to come back down here and hit support down in this zone. I expect this to be a zone of support. This is where I would want us to consider carefully whether to go long. Yes, there is some bullishness here, hence I put these whales, but you can see that the price action over the past, half of a week has burned through the bullishness with this price action here. So really it's just a flag down, a flagpole down, flag up, another flagpole move down. Okay, no change in my overall direction for Microsoft. Over to GDX as the gold play. You can see that price has been leveraging this area here, which is the gap fill, the gap entry as support. But it is using it as support without any bullishness. There's no bullishness down here. The last momentum change was up here when GDX had a double top. This top, I put the shark here, letting you know it's a sell. Indeed, price has been selling down. And it came down here to an area where it's just not really a momentum change. It's just a price action by retail traders. I thought this would be resistance. I thought this would be resistance. Well, I was wrong, but I won't be wrong in the overall direction. I was attempting to help you find more near-term points of interest, really. So what's going to happen? I think it will meet resistance up here. So I'm just going to put this right here. This will be resistance. I don't think it'll get all the way up here to find the other gap as resistance. I don't think there's that much momentum, retail buyers to buy back in, but they might. They could do a what is it called? A head and shoulders pattern, where this is the left shoulder, this is the head. They'll put a right shoulder here, and then further selling will resume. Okay. Overall, I'm not changing my tune. I'll just slide this over. I'll go like this. All right. So if we were to hypothetically draw a flagpole from here down to here, let's make it a different color so that we can all see it well. Let's make that orange, and let's make it thicker. Make it there. There's the orange flag. I'm going to duplicate it. Excuse me. I'm going to draw the other parts of the flag before I forget. So let's say the flag goes like this, this, other part of the flag. All right, so like that. Let's just make it like that, hypothetically. And then we'll make this one, the flagpole, we'll duplicate it, clone, there you go. And I'll stick it down here wherever price breaks. So let's say it breaks right here. Okay, it breaks like right here. And look at this, boom. Okay, down to this trend line. So I'm going to leave that flag there. That's the, I'll use it as a point of reference for us to just talk about it. Okay. So further low prices for gold as well. Don't follow the safety play that they try to get you to follow. Over to Bitcoin, I talked about they're going to try to bait you to try to bring price up above it. Similarly, I drew a flagpole here. Here's the flag, okay, with these two black lines. And then I said, wherever it breaks, I'll use this flagpole as so I'll move the flagpole here. Here's the break, okay? There's the break. Price is just coming back, hitting resistance on the lower side here. It's just flagging action. And look, where does it take us? Boom. And I made this prediction, 42K. Okay, last week I said, that's the next area. I expect it to get to 58 and then further flagging action, right? Zigzagging down to 42, okay? Is there bullishness? There's no bullishness. So it's just further low prices where all this price action that's happening in this zone here, going all the way back to November, all of this action from November, December, January, February, March, all of that is based on this built up momentum to the downside right here. Hence, I put the shark here. And now all this momentum is unwinding, okay? So tell your friends. I mean, look, like, position yourselves. Help one another. Help me, help you, help each other, okay? So that we can continue to build a nest egg for when we need to use it. All right. The financial play, American Express. I drew this this arrow to inform everybody that price will likely come down here to this zone of support here of 278. It's doing that. It's taking a little bit of time. What you might say is, well, a couple of weeks ago, John, you talked about some bullishness. Yes, indeed I did. Hence, I put the whale here. Okay. There is some bullishness, but I am also recognizing that this is a flag. It's just not a beautiful flag. Hence, the way I drew it looks really bad because it is a really bad looking flag. I'm just being honest. Okay. It's not your traditional flag. I mean, one could, this is not a science, it's all an art. You could draw the flag like this, right? But I left it here. So I'm not going to change my flag because I drew it last week. I'll leave it. The main point is, I think the flag, that's the flagpole, let's make it orange because I used the orange color on the other slide, on the other one there. Make it orange, I'll clone it, right? Let's just be consistent in our annotations because everybody needs to, I don't know, follow along. If I were to determine where it would break, okay, let's say it breaks, I don't know. It's not clean, but I'll just go like this, go like that, okay. All right, so there may be support here, I get that, but I also see actually, I'm going to change my tune real quick because I didn't update this. There is even further bullishness, okay? I'm doing this real time for you, so let's just delete this. All right, let's start over on my American Express review here. So there is more bullishness starting from March 6th all the way through the 27th, okay? Price was moving downward and momentum was moving upward. So there may be some support there. Let's make this whale a little bit bigger. All right. So there is support. Yeah, there might be a move. So let's look at this. I'm checking out, what I'm looking at is some historical price, this price zone here. Let's go to the weekly real quick. I want to look at this at the weekly. So I kind of see maybe one could annotate a zone of support at, I don't know, like this. All right, so maybe there may be a zone of support there. You can see some fighting action here. Price using as resistance and support. Along here, some support here, some support here. So this may be a little bit of a support zone, 287, from a weekly standpoint. From a daily standpoint, you see the price is staying above there. It may come down. Yeah, it may come down to the zone, 287, and use that as support, and then move up to the 200 days. So let's just annotate it like that. So maybe, when I drew this line here, it was overall direction. I mean, it's hard to get it down to the exact price level, okay? From an honest standpoint. So I'm going to re-annotate this a little bit. I think there is an opportunity here to use this as support and have price move up to at least the 200-day as the first move. So let's move this green annotation as support here at 287. Price may move down all the way down here, but then bounce all the way up to the 200-day, okay? So that's kind of like the risk reward for you. So if you were to take a long, you would want to do it down here. Okay, if you were to do it where we are today, and it gets up to the 200-day, that's about a 9% move, okay? But then you have, a 9% move up and a 4.5% move down. That's, a 1 to 2 ratio. You could lose $1 to gain $2, but I would prefer for you to take a long if it was down here. So if price came down closer to this 286, 287, 290 zone, and you took a long there, and then it comes up to the 200-day, you might have only a $1 or $2 loss for a $13 gain. Okay, so think of it that way. All right, so that's the American Express play. Here is what's happening with the other financial stock, the UK one, LGEN. You can see that when price came down here it did indeed come down to the zone of support, okay, right here on the 23rd. I still think it will continue to do that, but with this bullishness here, not quite as long or as much as American Express. It's about half the duration. So with that, I thought price would hit the 200-day and get rejected at the 200-day. Hence I drew it like this. But they gapped it up. Huge gap here. Let's annotate the gap. We'll put it right here. Okay, big gap. And they pushed it above. That's fine. The next zone of resistance is up here. And then further low prices. I don't see a change. So because this is no longer in play, I'll get rid of it. And I'll move this up here. Really, the direction is still to the downside. Okay. It's attempting to fill this first yellow box here. Fine, he'll do that. It may even reach this red resistance. It might not. But the main point is it is still further low prices. That's the general direction. Okay, that's what it's gonna do. I wouldn't go long LGEN now. Switching to Northrop Grumman, okay, behaving as expected. You can see that there's all this momentum to the downside here, bearishness, and then the price action is now following. It broke this support, this thick support line that I've drawn, trend line. Price is moving sideways, and it's attempting to come up and hit the bottom side of this trend line. It probably won't. There's no bullish momentum down here. Nothing at all like that. This is just a flag. Let's just go to the hourly and I'll draw the flag because it's kind of fun to do that. So the flag, let's see. Actually, let's go back to the daily real quick. It's an art. Okay, so I'll go to this one like that. All right, so there's the flag pole. And let's draw one part of the flag here. And then the upper one. The upper one isn't as important, but it's good to, it looks nice because people think of a flag like this, right? A flag. It could be a rectangle flag. This is more like a pennant. Anyway, I duplicate this, all right? And then the main thing to remember, where this little dot is, wherever price breaks, right? If it breaks, let's say it breaks right here, then I'll stick it right there, wherever it breaks. Okay, I'll put it there. And that's the next wave. All right. Now, interesting. I'm gonna extend this. So I'm looking at this point here. Let's zoom in real quick. Looking at this, all this support here, okay, is my reference point. So I'm going to draw this line and make sure I maintain that support spot. Holy smokes, check this out. All right. You can't make this stuff up. Okay. So, and this purple line, let's go back to the weekly. This purple line goes all the way back to, what is this? February 23. All right. So there's the move for Northrop. Have fun with that, because February 23 is a while back. So, all right, that is Northrop. Let's go over to the oil play. This one, I love this one because it's all about baiting. So I drew it here, okay? We all know there's bearishness with the shark. Then I said, hey, price is moving up into a zone of resistance. What they're going to do, and I told you, they're going to bait you to go long. They're going to want people to go long, right? The news is going to pump. Here, let's see what the news was. I'm going to click on this little guy. It says, hey, the XOM Mobil agreed to buy this company called Pioneer, right? And to boost whatever this Permian output is. And they're pursuing liquid natural gas expansion. Ooh, all sounds great, right? And they're targeting 25 billion in earnings. And look at all this cash flow, right? But what's crazy is all this is, it's all bogus speak. It's like asking your kids, let's say you and your wife are short, like me and my wife, okay? And, my son says to me, hey, Dad, I want to grow up to play in the NBA, right? I'm barely 5'6". My wife is 5 feet on a good day. So if my son said, Dad, I aspire to be an NBA player. The genetics are really against you. You can target, right? That's the word. These are the words that they use. Target. They target, they forecast. It's all manipulation. So that's how they bait, okay? They're baiting us. So don't get sucked in, because I already told you they're going to bait you. And so what they did, right? Bait, okay? Sell down. I drew this, said, hey, it's going to do this action, right? Now it's on support. It's possible, and I'm not going to hold it against them, that they're going to do the same thing to try to get a second top. So they might go, don't get baited, I'm telling you. They'll do a second top, okay? Go like this. And then the real selling begins. They just need people. They need liquidity. They need the mom and pops who are uninformed and watch the news and listen to the pundits and look at TikTok and watch Instagram and whatever people tell them, it will influence their behavior. That's what this is all about. It's about behavior management and not getting baited. So they're going to bait you. So I've already told you, okay? I'm fully disclosing that I'm short XOM Mobil. So I'm expecting to move with the sharks on their sell. So I'm already short XOM Mobil. I'm pretty much flat. I took a short over here at resistance. And, the way that I trade, I'm okay with the price moving against me because it's all based on my analysis. I'd rather be in the trade than for them to gap it down and for me to miss the trade. So I'm in the trade short, full disclosure. Okay, let's go over to the last ticker, which is a long play. This is WHR, which is Whirlpool. And you're saying to me, what the heck? Why are you looking at a consumer discretion company? Why are you looking at a a washing machine company? I'm looking at them because it's one of the few setups that is beginning to look law. Okay, let's first look at Whirlpool from a weekly standpoint. You can see from a weekly standpoint that since 2022, let's look at 2022. Here's 2022 low. 2022 low right here. Okay. Which is what, $64. Since the 2020, since the COVID low, 2020 low, price has come up, got a high right here. The high is 257. Okay, so from here, which is 71, all the way up to 257, that's 300%. Okay, so the whale is made out like a bandit. Incredible. From the high here to where we are now, where price is now, let's see, price is, let me just scroll over. So where price is now, all right, it's an 80% loss. Okay, what's really interesting, that's why I'm looking at it, is the opportunity to go long if we start to see a momentum change. So what you're looking at here is the weekly chart. Let's switch to the daily because I'm starting to see a change in momentum to the long side. All right, so zoom in. Okay, a lot of selling here, which is fine. We expect it. But then, boom, Friday the 20th, and today, and what is this? The 30th. So let's look back here. Friday the 20th, and then here on Monday the 30th, okay, there's a momentum change there. So what I'm expecting to happen is this trend line here, let's make it purple. Purple, long-term purple, okay, because it goes all the way back, like I said, to right here, which is 2020. Okay, so this is a long trend line that has, you can see a lot of battling along this trend line here. Resistance, 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 all this resistance became support, support. Okay, now price is down here right below it. I don't expect it to be there for very long. Okay, what I expect to happen is I want to see, this is how I want, if I were a whale, this is what I want to do. I want to have price continue further down a little bit. Okay, have price go down further. Right, so what they're going to do is they're going to pump out news, negative news. Let's look at what the news is. They're going to pump out negative news to affect human behavior, to release people's shares. That's the liquidity they're looking for. So what they want to do is they want to utilize, reverse psychology. They're going to say stuff to help you let go of your shares. Let other people let go of their shares. And that will push price down. So they're going to push them down, okay? And then they're going to scoop it up. So I expect a further low, right? Price going to keep going down. And at the same time, the RSI is continued to move up. When would I take a long? Great question. I'm going to wait until price recovers this trend line, okay, with some decent volume. So when price recovers this trend line with decent volume, I want to go long. So I'll go long. So I'm going to put a green annotation here. Let's make it a little darker. To say, hey, wait till price comes up there, okay? Because that will be a nice long entry. So I'm waiting for that. And the opportunity is as such. Look, if price is above here, then let's say it's, I don't know, let's say it's like right there, okay, at this spot here at 54.50, you know, and 54.50 back to the purple trend line is only like 3%, okay? But your opportunity to go long is all the way up to the, at least the gap fill, gap entry. Let's look here. 200-day gap fill, gap entry. The 200 days up here, that's why. But look, it's going to come up at least to the gap entry. That's a 37. Let's say you put in $1, excuse me. You could lose $3, right? That's $3 here, but you could gain almost $40, right? So it's the risk reward is immense. And then to go to the gap fill, that could be a 50% move. It'll take a while. I mean, it could be out here time frame, like October of this year, right? It takes a long time for price to move up. So I get it. But this is one of the few long opportunities that I've been able to identify. If you can identify them, share it with me. Put a comment, let me know. I'll analyze it and then give you my thoughts as well. Okay? So there you go. Good luck with your trades as usual. I'm not a financial advisor. I just like to pretend that I am one and help you and your family and friends build your nest egg so that you can do what you want with it. Please give me a like, thumbs up, share my material with your friends and family. Let me know what you want me to analyze. And as always, good luck with your trades.